name is Kathy, and today I'll be discussing how to use homeopathic remedies on ailments, continuing with infections, infestations, and the immune system, starting with the letter T, part 2, and Y. But before I do this, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Please refer to my How to Use Homeopathic Remedies video before using the material in this video. I'll be discussing how to use homeopathic remedies on specific ailments, but I've broken these ailments into categories for easier reference. I'll begin with ailments of the mind and emotions. Then I'll move on to ailments of the brain and nervous system. Then I'll address issues with your skin, nails, and hair. Then conditions of the eyes, ears, and nose. Then ailments of the teeth and gums. Then issues with lungs and respiration. Then ailments of the heart, blood, and circulation. Then ailments of the muscles, bones, joints, stomach, esophagus, duodenum, small and large intestine, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, kidney, bladder, ailments specific to women and specific to men, issues of the hormones and metabolism, homeopathic remedies for infections, infestations, and the immune system, issues surrounding fertility, pregnancy, childbirth, postnatal problems, homeopathic remedies for infants, ailments and diseases in childhood, and special issues of adolescence, and finally, special issues of the elderly. Constitutional treatment involves treating the totality of the individual person. Everyone is a unique individual with a unique physiology that responds to substances differently. In homeopathy, it's recognized that people will react strongly to certain remedies, and as a result of this, they can be loosely placed into different categories called constitutional types. Homeopaths talk of, for example, phosphoric types. These are people who react strongly to phosphorus, or Arsenicum album types, those who react strongly to Arsenicum album. The belief is that people of one type share similarities in terms of body shape, character, and personality, and the sorts of diseases from which they suffer. As an example, nature-mere people tend to be pear-shaped, have a dark complexion, be fastidious and rigid in personality, and keep themselves to themselves. They also crave salt and suffer from constipation. As another example, lycopodium types tend to be tall, gangly, of a stooped appearance, with an anxious expression and a craving for sweets and a propensity to produce intestinal gas. Now, of course, constitutional types have their limitations. In reality, each person is an individual, and so there are as many constitutional types as there are human beings. An account must be taken of the sum total of the person's inherent predispositions, past illnesses, diet, general reactions to the environment, intellectual and emotional features, and general attitude towards life. This is what is meant by constitutional treatment. I'll be making detailed videos of the various constitutional types after I've completed the use of homeopathic remedies on ailments. The ideas, procedures, and suggestions in this video and all my homeopathic videos are not intended as a substitute for the medical advice of a trained health professional. Consult your physician before adopting the suggestions in this video. If you're pregnant, do not attempt these techniques without the approval of your physician. So, let us continue with learning how homeopathic treatments can help with infections, infestations, and the immune system, starting with the letter T, part 2, and Y. Infections are an almost daily occurrence, but if we're healthy, our immune systems deal with them before we notice any symptoms. Most microorganisms enter the body through the nose and mouth, in the air, in our food, sometimes on dirty fingers. Some enter through cuts and abrasions, while others invade the urinary or reproductive tract through the urethra or vagina. Many of the microorganisms with which we share this planet are harmless. Some permanently inhabit the inside and outside of the human body. A few even produce substances useful to it and prevent harmful bacteria from finding a foothold. This is true of certain bacteria in the large intestine and vagina. Some bacteria are harmless in one part of the body, but damaging in another. This is true of E. coli, which is benign when it is in the colon or rectum, but harmful if it's transferred to the urethra, vagina, or mouth. Each kind of microorganism, whether it is a bacterium, virus, fungus, or blood parasite, carries special chemical markers known as antigens. Some strains of lymphocytes, which is a kind of white blood cell, produced in the lymph nodes, spleen, bone marrow, adenoids, tonsils, and the wall of the gut, recognize antigens and stimulate other lymphocytes to produce proteins, called antibodies, which then disable the carrier organism. Other lymphocytes directly attack and destroy the invading organism. For about 6 months after birth, babies are protected by their mother's antibodies. After that, the immune system is sufficiently mature to start manufacturing its own. Homeopathic immunization does not involve introducing live or dead virus or antibodies into the body. Instead, remedies are prepared from diseased tissue or secretions using the traditional dilution and succession method. Like other homeopathic remedies, they contain in highly potent form the essence of the source material used, in this case, the essence of the disease organism and its toxins. The body's reaction to such remedies, known as nosodes, sharpens its immune response. The production of no antibodies in response to antigens, the so-called immune response, is not the body's only line of defense. The body's first-line troubleshooters are neutrophils and macrophages, which are 2 kinds of white blood cells that constantly patrol the bloodstream and tissue fluids and respond immediately to the chemical and thermal signals sent out by tissues when they become inflamed. If inflammation is suppressed, white cell activity is impaired. Neutrophils and macrophages gobble up and digest offending microbes, foreign particles, and other noxious elements. The resulting pus is a mixture of necrotic tissue, dead bacteria, and dying white blood cells. Infections can be treated by killing the germs that cause them or by helping the immune system to deal with them, or both, depending on the general health and the virulence of the infection. Traditional antibiotics can deal with bacteria, but not viruses. After a course of antibiotics, live yogurt or kefir, eaten daily for at least 5 days, helps to repopulate the gut with the beneficial bacteria that the antibiotics had killed, along with the harmful bacteria that was their main target. Homeopathic remedies, improved nutrition, fresh air, exercise, and rest can restore the coping ability of the immune system. In some cases, homeopathic remedies and antibiotics used together may be necessary. Constitutional homeopathic treatment is also advisable after serious infections. Occasionally, as a result of aging or exposure to certain viruses, bacteria, chemicals, and environmental factors, the body loses some of its ability to discriminate between self and non-self, or fails to recognize and destroy its own abnormal cells. The first kind of impairment leads to autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis and systemic lupus. The second leads to cancer. Allergies, distressing reactions to certain drugs, chemicals, foods, and other substances that seem to be tolerated by the majority of people are the downside of having an immune system. Typhoid fever. The natural medicines that are very beneficial for treating typhoid fever are Baptisia, Arnica, and muriatic acid. Baptisia can be used with good results for fever with high offensive discharges, including urine, stool, and perspiration. Baptisia is also of great help in the delirious stage of typhoid fever, when sleep overpowers the person even when taking. Arnica is the top remedy for typhoid cases with sore, bruised pains all over the body. Muriatic acid is the best remedy for involuntary stool along with fever. The patient may also complain of extreme sleepiness. Typhoid fever is a highly contagious bacterial illness spread through contaminated food and water supplies or passed from person to person. Some people carry typhoid fever but do not succumb to it. The bacteria rapidly inflame the walls of the intestines and enter the bloodstream, causing what seems to be a bad attack of influenza at first, although this is followed by persistent high fever, diarrhea, intestinal bleeding, general weakness, delirium, and sometimes a pink rash on the abdomen. If typhoid fever is suspected, and particularly if there is blood in the feces, see a doctor within 2 hours. The person will need to be isolated and given antibiotics. Specific remedies to be taken every 2 hours for up to 10 doses. Yellow-coated tongue, bitter taste in mouth, loose stools, restlessness. Use Baptisia 6C. Shooting pains in the head, throat, chest, abdomen, and limbs made worse by the slightest movement. Use Bryonia 30C. Exhaustion, feeling chilly, worried, restless, and thirsty for small sips of hot drinks. Use Arsenicum 6C. If you have been in contact with a typhoid sufferer, take Typhoidinum 30C daily for 10 days as a preventative. Self-help. If medical help is not immediately available, the person should stay in bed and take only water with a little salt and sugar in it. That's 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of sugar to 1 large cup of water. This allows the walls of the intestine to heal. The best way to reduce the temperature is to give 10-minute tepid sponge downs every 2 hours. Do not give aspirin or paracetamol, as these may aggravate intestinal inflammation and bleeding. Yellow fever. Yellow fever is a viral infection endemic in South and Central America and parts of Africa, and is spread by mosquitoes. The virus attacks the liver, causing symptoms that resemble those of influenza, and in severe cases, jaundice, nausea, and vomiting, and abdominal pain. The person may also become very depressed, confused, or comatose. As with many viral ailments, treatment can only be palliative. One attack gives you lifelong immunity. Specific remedies to be taken every hour for up to 10 doses during an acute attack. Person is feverish, vomiting, jaundiced, restless. Use Aconite 30C. Pain in the abdomen, retching and vomiting, symptoms made worse by slightest movement. Use Bryonia 30C. Person exhausted, restless, and thirsty for sips of water. Use Arsenicum 6C. And you can also use Yellow Fever Nosode 30C. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, so I decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.